Well, coming up down Rookie to Rookie, we've got our first taste of Champions League knockout football here with Benfica, of course, going straight through to the round of 16 after topping the league phase, and we've got Monaco in the round of 16. Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 93 of Rookie to Royalty here on Shaun Does FM with Benfica. I hope you're doing well and come up day. We've got Champions League knockout football, the round of 16 over 2 legs as we take on Monaco. So for you guys, looking forward to that, but it comes off the back of yesterday's episode. A couple of games there against Porto, which apologies, probably didn't come out too good my computer. Had a bit of a boo-boo there with the footage from that one, but in the end, I did kind of recover it. So I thought it was easy to go with that option instead of replaying those two games and doing the entire video all over. So hopefully you guys were able to get through that one. But if you missed it, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner included. Our second trophy here of the Sabre 5-1 win in the League Cup final before. We just didn't quite get the job done in the league against them. We lost 4-3, but thankfully have bounced back in 2 games since then. 5-0 over our affiliate club in Alverca SAD. 5 different goal scorers in that game, which is good to see. And then we picked up a 3-0 win over Vizela, largely with a rotation team heading into this Champions League round of 16 tie. So it does mean that thankfully we are still in a really strong position in Liga Portugal these days with only 9 games left in our season. And we're 13 clear of Braga. 3 points further back to Sporting, who do have those 2 games in hand, so really it might be a 10-point gap on top, but still, with the goal differential as well, going to take a fair old bottle job for us to not pick up the title here in our first season at Benfica and make it a domestic treble, but hopefully off the back of how well we did in the league phase of the Champions League, we can also go quite deep in the top tier of Europe this season. Here are the other ties that did get drawn for the round of 16. You can see there are a few have already had the first league played. AC Milan there leading Chelsea. You've got Spurs doing a number there on Real Sociedad. Leon have just got the advantage there over Napoli, and Gladbach bashing near Atletico Madrid 3-0, which is interesting considering Atletico Madrid beat us and we got the job done against Gladbach. Not too sure what's going on there. But on this match day, it's us away at Monaco. You got Bayern there, who only just made their way through into that first knockout playoff round. They've made their way through here to the round of 16. They take on into Arsenal v Liverpool in an all-English tie. And another big one down there right at the bottom. It's Real Madrid versus PSG. So to be fair, based on the names here, we probably haven't done too badly in getting Monaco from that left-hand side. But currently, they're not actually too bad a team here in the save. They sit a clear second in league, albeit 8 points off of PSG, but 9 clear of Lille. And as you can see there, have been in really good form of late, including their win over PSV Eindhoven in that first playoff knockout round. Here are the final results from that round. We'll find Monaco here. They got past PSV 4-3, so to be fair, they get pushed quite close there by the team out of the Netherlands, but still, they could be a bit here of a tricky one for us as the second best team over in League On, but hopefully it's a team that we can definitely get the job done over considering the stature of teams that we did beat back in the league phase, albeit we've actually suffered a couple of quite big injuries off the back of yesterday's episode. So unfortunately, that's going to impact us here in today's episode. Most notably, Murtaz Piskunov, a damaged foot. That means he's out for 5 days to 2 weeks. He'll miss both legs here in this round of 16 ties. So unfortunately, we're missing there our star striker. But of course, Matthias De Rosa is a very able backup. He'll come in here to our first team. And also, it means that Grace Gabangu will get used as the backup off the bench for this tie. So hopefully he'll do a decent job there with Grace. To be fair, so far, he's actually done a pretty good job when we've used him this season in this Benfica team, albeit mostly against some pretty bad teams there in the league. We'll see how he goes here in continental competitions. He has had 4 games in the Champions League, went off the bench, and scored 3 goals though. So to be fair, Grace not doing too badly for us here in the save the homegrown strikers. Hopefully won't be too bad off there without Piskunov as we take on Monaco. And also, unfortunately, really bad timing for this one. Jesus Fortea out with a cold for 2 days, so it does mean also missing our first choice right back, and actually impacts what I was going to do in that position for this first league, because a couple of players I was going to look to change in here that usually wouldn't be in our first 11. One of those was going to be Fabio Renato coming in there for Emmanuel Nardi down that left-hand side, but with that injury to Fortea, I'm actually going to leave Renato on the bench, seeing as he's our only right-back cover there for Priti, but otherwise he would have been there at left-back over Nardi. You can see there both those wing-backs not in too good a form. The other change that we have made based on form, Matteo Monsalvo, 7.46 over his last couple of games. He comes in there for Juan Castillejo, who sits on a little bit of an average 6.82. But apart from that, as well as the changes up front, we are going here with our best 11. Let's see if we can get the job done in this first leg away from home. And quite hopeful considering that apart from Atletico Madrid, we did a really good job away from home in the league phase of the Champions League. Just that one loss, and of course, I think Monaco might not be quite as good as Atletico Madrid. We'll see here how we go, but obviously we did beat the likes of Man City away from home. Monaco should not be that good. A couple of names in that team that I recognise actually from the Leipzig save that we did not too long ago, like the Benfica as well as Tenas in goal. So really, would like to think here our Benfica team, it might be a bit more talented, and we can at least take some parity here back to Portugal for the second leg and get the job done relatively comfortably, make our way through to the quarterfinals. Otherwise, if we get knocked out here, honestly, not too sure what we come back for in tomorrow's episode with that situation in Liga Portugal, because this is the only other competition that we've got these days, having been knocked out so early in the Portuguese Cup. And really, that Liga Portugal, as I said earlier, would take some bottle job for us to not get the job done. To be fair, off the back of this tie that we're going to play in today's episode, our next game in the league off the back of these two games is actually Sporting away from home. So that could be interesting, but apart from that, really, there's not too much that should be threatening. Of already taking on Braga and Porto in the second half of the season. So you expect us there to hold on to that 13/10 point gap, depending on what Sporting do with their couple of games in hand. But so far this one has been pretty quiet in the opening 15 minutes, ever so slightly on the front foot. We've got a few more shots off there, and position-wise, we're definitely dominating the ball, but so far there's been no highlights, which to be fair, don't think we'd mind too much going back to Portugal and hopefully putting the foot down here against this Monaco team. But so far this game has been very quiet, quite encouraging start for us here in this game. But since then, there's not been a lot ever since that 15-minute mark. One shot there from Monaco, but really, this is threatening to be an extremely boring first half. Late on though, there's finally a highlighted corner here to Monaco. Thankfully, we can head that one away. They try and put that one there in the back of the net on the volley for a player on an orange injury, but overall, that was a pretty forgetful first half. Absolutely flew through that one and still locked up at 0-0, which to be fair, we don't mind too much. But my take off here, the two players I was thinking about not playing pretty. We'll bring on Ronaldo for him, seeing as he's on a bit of a deep yellow heart. He actually played that previous game where we did pick up the result. I think it was against Vizela in the league, so not a bad idea there. Get some fresh legs on at both right back as well as in central midfield. Castillejo can come on for Monsalvo, not going too badly, but also hardly seeing the world on fire either. So we're hopefully going to strengthen up here our team for the second half, albeit an early highlight here for Monaco. Thrown deep inside our heart, dummy, and Lucillo will put that one away. Hopefully he's straight offside, otherwise a dreadful start here to the second half, and indeed it is, because the goal's been awarded. So unfortunately those changes, they have not helped. I think the Nadi does get caught out. He's actually been really poor since coming back from injury. Ronaldo, we were going to start over him, but Blimen Fortea and that flu he picked up, unfortunately, just stays onside there, does the goal scorer in Lucero, and Monaco take a 1-0 lead with their first shot on target. So unfortunately, we are now behind 1-0 though. Would not be too bad. I'll be pretty confident that we could turn that round back at home in the second leg. But again, they've got a throw in here inside the final third, but this time on the other side of the field, and currently knocking about quite nicely this time. Decent press there from Florentino Luis. Let's hope here that we can win the ball off the home team in their traditional red and white. But unfortunately, they're looking quite dangerous here at these stages of the second half. Singo somehow there keeps the ball, plays it in there to Samantin, who squares that one, and thankfully they try and beat the Lunin at the near post. He comes up there with a decent save. We actually try and encourage off the back of that, but no, we're still going to see the corner, which is a bit of a concern. Thankfully, Renan will head that one away. Loose touch though does mean that highlight, it does eventually get cut out. But now quite a few players out there for us who are struggling rating-wise. So Escudero will bring on at left back, seeing as we brought Ronaldo on earlier at right back. Also Trincao there for Kouamori, struggling in that shadow striker role. We could also potentially try Kabangu, but I think we'll actually wait because he comes into this one on a heavy workload. Hopefully De Rosa, he can improve. We'll make that sub later if we need to. Maybe it's going to be Grace that does help us get back into this game, which to be fair, we're well and truly still in over 2 legs. But nice work here from Diaz. He picks up there Simonton down the right-hand side, and now we're in a bit of trouble. We go 2-0 down with just over 20 minutes left. So here it's been a really poor second half, kind of reminiscent of what was happening to us at Jan Regensburg in the first knockout playoff round last season. That time, though, it was against Juventus. A poor half from us here, and it might prove costly if we don't sort things out soon. 2-0, it might be okay, but any worse than this, and we will be in a fair bit of trouble. Kalafatoğlu too at left wing, not going too well. Neither is Husic at right wing as well, so quite a few players up front here who aren't doing well, but I think the one that we're going to take off here late on is going to be De Rosa on that 6.3 for Grace Kabangu. Let's see if he can continue his pretty decent form when we've actually used him here in the save so far. It hasn't been too often, but as you saw earlier, he has a pretty good goals to game ratio. Let's see if he can pop up with something here and get us back into this game with our final sub. And also, we'll go up tempo because really, we've done nothing off the back of the first 15 minutes. But it is a highlight here in Monaco. They do keep the ball. They'll find their DF. A fair bit of space too down the left-hand side. We are tightly miking Ben Seguir as he is their key player. Thankfully, no foul in there, and we are able to clear that ball. And again, they play that one there into the mixer, but thankfully we clear our lines, and also someone was offside, so a little bit there of a waste of time height. But again, here Monaco are on the attack, and unfortunately, Robert Renan has brought down Ben Seguir. He might have actually won that ball, but might have taken out the bloke first. We'll see here what VAR has to say. And the penalty's been awarded this a huge moment. If we go 3-0 down, we'll be in all sorts of trouble. And I've got no idea what we'll come back for in tomorrow's episode. Lunan goes the right way and really should be stopping that one, but Felicio Diaz puts it past him and makes it 3-0. So this definitely has not gone to plan. The first leg here of this round of 16 tie. No idea how Lunan has not kept that one out. He did everything but actually stopped that one with his hands. We could go late here to a 4-3-3, but unfortunately, with Trincao on the field, not too sure if that's actually going to work. So we'll go back here to our 4-2-3-1, which has worked so well so far this season. Go a bit more positive with the roles here of our players, because I think we need to at least try and get one more goal here in this game. If we can see one, though, that'll probably be us done for this tie, which will be really disappointing off the back of how good we were in the league phase. And also, we've been really good too in Portugal this season. A bit unsure where this performance has actually come from, especially off the back of a rotation. The game before we did play this one, giving our first team a rest. Unfortunately, a free kick there, Kalafatoğlu. His effort does get saved nicely. Lunan, a 6.0 maybe. That's where we've gone wrong in this game. Unfortunately, can't pick Silver out there. I think it would have been at the near post. Let's see if this highlight continues now. It's our defenders and centre-backs who are knocking the ball about. And unfortunately, it will not. We're making our way, though, into 4 minutes of added time. And since we've gone attacking, a few more highlights here in our favour. Luis here will pick out Trincao. Castillejo with a shot from the edge of the box. Unfortunately, it comes off the woodwork, and we do get denied. Desperate here for a goal to at least get this one back to being somewhat competitive going into that second leg. But unfortunately, we can't do it. And oh dear, we go 3-0 down there off the back of that first leg. Overall match momentum, actually, we weren't that bad. Just that brief period there after half-time, it proves costly. Filthy there with Lunan, a 6.0. Definitely should have saved that penalty, it felt like, because he got really close to it. Just for some reason, didn't use his hands too well. But really, that brief period there, that first 15 minutes or so of the second half, that did prove quite costly. And we get beaten 3-0. Going to need a big turnaround in the second leg back in Portugal. And here are the highlights from the league game that we did play in between these two leagues, and we did rotate quite heavily for this game. Thankfully, got off here to a quite good start. Trincao being put away there by Matt Soso. We take a 1-0 lead over Vitória Guimarães. This is a team who have taken some decent points so far off the big three, and unfortunately, with one of their few attacks of the game there, just past the hour mark, they've done it again, a 1-1 draw. It was actually Kabangu who scored the goal. I'm pretty sure it looked like Trincao there. Apparently, no, it was Kabangu who pops up yet again with a goal on the restart for him. But here are the stats. Really should have been winning that game, just couldn't quite put the foot down and score a second goal. So a little bit disappointed here with our goal scoring so far in today's episode. Maybe the fact I had to restart my computer off the back of trying to fix that video that came out yesterday, it might have made our form, because that is not too great, but thankfully, still going pretty nicely in Liga Portugal. We're 11 points clear of Braga and 14 clear of Sporting. So we're still in a pretty safe spot there in Liga Portugal. But now I need to focus on the second leg where we do take on Monaco, and unfortunately there's even more injuries than we have for the first leg. Thankfully, Jesus Fortea, he's back from his cold, so it does mean that we can do that plan we're going to do for that first leg and actually start there. Ronaldo at left back, but also being ruled out since then is Franco Devia with a pulled hamstring. To be fair, he's our backup deep line playmaker, but still would have been quite nice to have him on the bench. He's out for 3 to 10 days, and also our cup goalkeeper Intel Hardas is out with a twisted knee for 1 to 2 days, and honestly, I would have been quite tempted to use him in this game over Andre Lunin off the back of that rating he got in that first leg, which was not too good. So we're going to go here with our best 11, but just Ronaldo coming in there at left back. Otherwise, it's a very strong team. Castillejo comes back in, as does Fortea at right back in a stick, with exactly what we've been doing here all season since we made that switch to the DLP as well as the shadow striker, because really our form has been pretty good outside of that 3-0 loss, as well as those other few results where there's red dots here so far this season. But honestly, there's not that many of them. I think we can trust this tactic, and hopefully they can get the job done here. But going to need a big old turnaround, as we have 3 goals down to be not as bad there as Liverpool need against Arsenal at Anfield. But hopefully we can somehow make our way through here to the quarterfinals. Otherwise, as I said, not really too sure if there's much to come back for in the remainder of this season here at Benfica, considering the situation you just saw in Liga Portugal. So really would be quite nice here to make our way through to those quarterfinals at the very least, so we can then wrap up this season at the end of this week if we do get knocked out at this stage. We're just making sure here our backup goalkeeper got a number. He comes up from our under-19, so thankfully we did have a few homegrown club players under the age of 21 that did not need to be registered. It does mean that we're safe there if Lunin does go really badly and we need to pull him or he gets injured. But fingers crossed here, these guys can go a lot better than they did in that first league. To be fair, we weren't too bad in terms of match momentum. Just Monaco, that little stint they had there, the 20 minutes or so off the back of half time, and they absolutely put the foot down. And we had a couple of chances late once going attacking, but we hit the woodwork on a couple of occasions. So both teams here going with a 4-2-3-1. Let's hope we can go off here to a really good start and wanting an early goal to at least work our way back into this tie, because a big deficit. We're down 3 now. We really need to score at least 1 goal in the first half here of this home tie. Otherwise, might be us done here for the Champions League this season, and that would be really disappointing off the back of our league campaign, because we look really good in that stage of the competition, but unfortunately not too good in that first league. But thankfully on the attack early, just keep that ball there through Castillejo down our right hand side. Now we played in there to Fiorentino Luis. Now it's Fabio Ronaldo at left back, plays in there for Calafat-Toglu, who beats their goalkeeper and Tinas from a tight angle at the near post. That's exactly what we wanted, just shy of the 6-minute mark. In fact, it might be 4 there. We make it 1-0, so exactly what we were after. Fabio Ronaldo, who born at left back like I was wanting to do for that first league, but unfortunately that Fortea flu did mean I didn't feel comfortable doing that with our right back depth. But thankfully Ronaldo does set up that first goal, but now it's getting a little bit worse, because Kouamori does get forced from the field with a red injury. Trincao, we could bring on Martinez actually on a bit more of a green home. We could shift Calafat-Toglu more central, but I think Trincao in a role that we're training him for might be the smart option, but unfortunately forced there into a very early sub off the back of that great start with a goal. And now Trincao on an orange injury and a red heart. So this is going pretty poorly. I'm hoping that he can stay out there until half time. Indeed, that orange heart now a bit better than the red one he had earlier, albeit again it drops down to a red heart. So we're going to try here and leave Trincao out there for as long as possible. Don't want to waste a couple of substitution stoppages here in the first half, because then that could mud us for the second half of this game. So fingers crossed here Trincao won't get forced from the field before halftime. Not really too worried about the goal scoring now. Hopefully can sort that out in the second half, and thankfully Trincao does get through to halftime. But a good first half, just unfortunately only the 1 goal. What we're going to do here is that change we thought about earlier. Calafat-Toglu into the shadow striker role, and Nicolas Martinez can come on at left wing. To be fair of late, he's been really good for us in that position. When Calafat-Toglu, he has near to rest. We'll tell the guys that they've got more to offer, because definitely the team here on the front foot in this second league, but we do still need 2 goals without letting Monaco score a single one. A 2-goal buffer here we need in the second half of this game, and we want some highlights quickly. Unfortunately, though, it's Monaco who are on the ball from the first one that we do see. Moisa plays it across there to Ratnik, his centre-back partner, but thankfully poor pass there, and Martinez can get us back here on the attack. What can he do with some fresh legs? We'll float this one far post. Husic squares that one for Kalafitoglu. We go far post, and that header, I think, came off the woodwork or got saved from Tinas. So unfortunately, we're still only up here 1-0. Then Husic tries to work that one into the mixer. It takes a deflection, but a chance now from set piece, which Martinez will also take. Can he pick out Silva here at the far post? He can't. Fortea does get us back here on the ball. We try and find Husic there at the far post, and it does get cut out. So unfortunately, can't make the most of that great chance early in the second half, and still only 1 lap and 3-1 down on aggregate. But now here we're going to look for Silva at the near post, and again the woodwork comes to the rescue of Monaco like it did a few times there late in that first leg away from home. It feels like the FM gods are not on our side. So now we're going to make a change here. Husic is going pretty fairly on a 6.5 minute. So can come on him, and also we might try here instead of Renan, Miguel has on that right hand side at centre back, seeing as he and Silva are the big threats aerially from our set pieces. Maybe that's what we need to try and grab one more goal in this game. Just try here and play a bit more for set pieces without turning that option on. So we'll see here if those couple of subs, they might make a difference. But unfortunately, it's actually Monaco here who are on the ball. But Castillejo tracks back nicely, gets that ball in. And like what he did in yesterday's episode in that loss to Porto, he actually keeps it. Now, Kalafitoglu starts to make his way forward here down the right-hand side, obviously, in that shadow striker role. He can roam now a little bit more. Martinez with a great chance, but unfortunately, his effort gets blocked, and it feels like that highlight is about to end. We're creating some really good chances in the second half, but unfortunately, they're parking the bus here, Monaco, and getting some help from the woodwork as well, so can't quite make this 2-0 and really make things interesting just yet. But now Renato starts to make his way forward down that left-hand side. Surely that's a clear penalty. Diaz there has brought him down well off the ball. Hopefully this makes up for that one in the first leg, and we can put it away. Let's see who's going to take this, because of course no Piskunov, so not too sure who'll be taking this one for us. It was Renan previously, he's not on the field, so it's Kalafitoglu who goes looking for a double and buries it in the top right corner. He picks up, I think that's his 15th of the season. Thankfully, starting to find here some goal scoring touch is one of our star players now at the club. Of course, brought him in when he wasn't natural in left wing, more natural in that central role, which now he's having to do a job for us in, seeing as both Trincao and Kawamori, they are injured, and we're right back in this one at 3-2. And now we've got one more sub and stoppage here that we can make, and I think the move that I'm tempted for is to bring on Monsalvo for someone there in midfield. Definitely not going to take off Kalafitoglu, who sits on a hat trick. Now I think Luis is on a worse rating of a 7.1, so despite the fact here that Monsalvo is a lot more natural in the centre mid role, he's also not too bad a bit further back. His tackling, it is quite good, so we're going to try him there as a deep line playmaker for Luis. Obviously no Devia, so he's having to cover both those positions in this game. And now we're about to make our way to the final 5 or so minutes of this game. I'm kind of hoping we don't have to up our tempo, but we're going to have to here to try and grab this extra goal. We might also go here a bit more positive with our inside forward as well as our right back. Just try here and be a bit more attacking late on in this game. It's a bit of a Hail Mary now. We've left it a little bit too late, it feels like, here with this Benfica team to try and turn this one around. But let's see if we can grab a goal late and take this one into extra time. And if we can, surely we'll be the team then on the front foot. Rui Silva gets picked out there at the near post by De Rosa, who to be fair was going pretty poorly before then. So off the back of making it 3-3, we'll just tone things down a little bit more. We won't go attacking, because obviously if we concede now, that would really suck. So we're going to try here and be just a touch more defensive late on in this game. We'll still play with a higher tempo, but apart from that, just going back to what we usually do off the back of that corner, which thankfully Rui Silva, he does put away like he's done so often for us here since we signed him back here to Benfica earlier this season. He's proven to be our star centre back here at the club. We'll see if that remains the case once Tanguy Nyanzu comes in on a free next season. But making our way into 5 minutes of added time, unfortunately, can't quite score one more goal to stop this one before it goes to extra time. But that is a very dominant second leg display. We've picked up a 3-0 win, so now it goes to extra time. So thankfully, have found a way here to take this one to an extra half hour. Hopefully, the momentum, it might be on our side. And also, we'll have an extra sub, which we do for Taya on a red hat as Renato, and De Rosa I was going to take off, but Benfica got the assist there for that goal. So maybe save this up just in case it does go to a penalty shootout. That might be the smart idea as well, maybe, as if we get an injury here in this extra time period. And the only highlight too, it's a throw in here for Monaco. They actually give the ball back to us too, so actually a good chance here inside of the Monaco half, and hopefully can make this good. But it's a shocking pass there from Miguel Has, so it does mean Monaco are on the attacks. Let's see here what they can do in the early stages of extra time. Hopefully we don't concede, because really good so far in this game. Let's hope that it continues despite some very tired legs. Thankfully, a deep ball does mean we get the ball back in Martinez here. A lovely run by him. We'll play a ball through there to Matsoso. Great chance, but unfortunately Tinas comes up there with a great save to stop that one from making it 4-3. So a good chance there to our South African right winger. We can't quite take it. We pick out Silva at the far post, and that one goes just over the bar. And now actually we might also drop down to a standard tempo, what we actually usually do here properly with this Benfica team, because it was working pretty well just to go a bit higher tempo, and we desperately needed a goal in the last couple of minutes there of regular time. We were playing pretty well before we upped that tempo too, so let's hope here that it works again here. We can go even more higher tempo in the last couple of minutes of this game if we need to. We get into half time here of extra time, and let's just see what we might need to do here, because quite a few players out there on some deep red hearts. De Rosa is not the worst penalty taker. Proetti is not too great. Now let's just see what Nadi could do. He's not too bad. 12 penalty taking, so maybe with this final sub, we take off Fortea, put Renato going well out to right back, and Nadi can come on there for Fortea with that final sub here for the final 15 minutes of this game. Hopefully some fresh legs here at left back, they might do the trick, and also if they don't, they might be helpful in a penalty shootout, which unfortunately it looks like this one it might be going to somehow. We have not scored a fourth goal because the XG now is ridiculously high on 4.2, so we'll up the tempo and go a little bit more attacking here with our rolls on inside forward at least. Not going to go stupidly full out attack here when Monaco, they could counter and knock us out here of the Champions League, but just a bit more positive. Let's see if we can find a goal like we did late on in regular time, and no, we cannot. So this one is going to a penalty shootout. I'm going to sort out our order here, and we'll come back and hopefully get the job done from the spot in front of our home fans. And now we've sorted out that order. It's time here for this penalty shootout in the round of 16 of the Champions League. Here's what we've gone with. It makes the most sense, I think. Nadi's dropped down there a little bit, seeing his finishing is not too great. And also Martini is a bit further up than maybe you'd expect him, but his finishing also a bit better there than some of those defenders. So thought he should sneak his way there up to fourth, but it looks pretty decent bringing on Nadi. Let's hope that pays off and he doesn't miss that third penalty, because if he does, that's not too good there for a young lad at only 18 years old. I think what we're going to say is the team talk the assistant recommends, and also we'll pump the fist here and tell them that we think our guys, they can be difference makers, and that top option seems to be working so far here, and let's hope we can get the job done. We'll also just change the camera angle. It's not too bad at the moment, but don't want it to change too randomly during the shootout. So we'll go here to vertical scrolling. This seems like the best one for the shootout. Kalafatoglou is up first, waste no time. A little chip there down the middle. Thankfully, Tinas got sent the wrong way. That would have looked really dumb if it did not work. Of course, Kalafatoglou scoring in regular time, but makes it 1-0. Luna now tries to stop that one from Diaz, but gets sent the wrong way. So 1-1 here. Of course, Diaz scored it in that first league, I think, when Lunan should have stopped that one, it felt like. But now De Rosa goes very close there to getting his effort stayed from Tinas, but thankfully just makes his way past him. So I think that makes up there for Lunan in the first league. Now Benfica, the star player here for Monaco. Lunan goes right and plucks that one out of thin air. So thankfully we've got the advantage now. Nadi, let's hope that he can step up here and put it away. And thankfully it goes past Tinas, even though he went the right way yet again. So thankfully Nadi coming on, that's actually worked out quite well. Now Adingra will try and put this one in left-hand corner. It went pretty closely to the post, but just sneaks inside. It's a 3-2 here. Let's hope Martinez can put this one away and put us on the brink of going through again. Tinas goes extremely close, but can't quite save that one. Maybe he's got better for hands and it's melted, because seriously, he should have stopped one of those last couple of chances. But thankfully, the luck here might just be on our side. Wilfred Singo now to try and keep this penalty shootout going. It comes off the woodwork. We're waiting to celebrate here for some reason. I'm not too sure why. There it goes to the red dot on that penalty shootout screen. Thankfully, Monaco have completely bottled things here in the second league, and we come back from a horrible 20 or so minutes in the second half of that first leg and turn things around and get past them 3-all, but 4-2 on penalties. Very dominant display there in the second leg. Portugal with 2 goals, one from the spot as well as the first one in that penalty shootout. Thankfully, that little chip down the middle, it did pay off, but boy oh boy, that took a bit of an effort from us there in that second leg. Thankfully, we didn't change too much. Just Ronaldo coming in there at left back like we would have done if Fortea did not pick up a flu before that first leg. And we come back down there from 3-0 and get the job done in a penalty shootout. We're going to stay alive here in the Champions League and make our way through to the quarterfinals, knocking out Monaco. So we made that one pretty difficult for ourselves here at Benfica, but thankfully just doing enough to get past Monaco in the round of 16 of the Champions League. Unfortunately, so the week or so until those quarterfinals do get drawn, so we have to wait and see who we do get in that stage of the competition, and that definitely will be coming up tomorrow. It does mean that we'll skip over Sporting, but with the League of Portugal situation, pretty sure that's something that we can do. Already qualified for the Conference League, but surely we'll have Champions League football here next season. Let's hope it comes as the champions of Portugal. But thankfully, have just done enough there in that penalty shootout to get past Monaco. Here are the other results. Here are the teams that we could get in the round of 16. Chelsea have come from behind there to beat AC Milan. Spurs absolutely thumping Real Sociedad. Of course, we just got past Monaco. Bayern have got past Inter. Napoli have done the job there, come from behind to beat Lyon. Gladbach have knocked out Atletico Madrid. That's definitely a team that I want, because all the rest do look somewhat scary. In Gladbach, we know that we can beat. Arsenal have done the job there over Liverpool off the back of their 4-0 first league win. And Real Madrid just do enough there to get past Angers, PSG. So to be fair, there's some big tough teams left in this competition, apart from maybe Gladbach. So quite hopeful that we get them, but no doubt it'll be someone quite big and annoying like Real Madrid, or of course the defending champions in Tottenham Hotspur in the safe. So we'll see what we get when we come back for tomorrow's episode, which will be that quarterfinal of the Champions League. But if you enjoyed that tough tie there against Monaco in the round of 16, then do make sure to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well until tomorrow for that Champions League quarterfinal against one of those other 7 teams that you saw before. Thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.